Hi, everybody. Wave 652, I think we're on now with this pandemic lockdown. The other day's announcement of going back to online learning, I'm sure, has made lots of us think about how we're going to continue on in some ways. For others, maybe it was relieving. Um, but I just thought I'd create a real quick thought process video here for people to think through how to continue on, like when you feel like it's just never ending. And one of the things that I think we need to start by thinking about is how do we take care of us in all of this. um, so number one, as parents, uh, for me and my wife, we often talk about the importance of getting ready in the morning. um, Something you sometimes let slide when you don't have to go anywhere. You just put on the sweats, and you don't necessarily, maybe put on makeup or do your hair or do things like that. So one of the first things that you can do to really help yourself continue to feel good is getting ready. Just get ready, take a shower, do your hair, do your makeup, do the things that you would normally do. And I know that's easier said than done because time's going to be tight and you're going to be running around trying to get kids on devices and what have you. But if you can find the time to do those things, brush your teeth, you just feel better. And when you feel better, you naturally start to give a little bit more. Other things you can do is if you're an exerciser, try to figure out how are you gonna get that exercise in. How do you get some mindful breaks in the day? How do you get some breathing breaks in the day? And be kind to yourself. We're not teachers. We're not. We're parents. And for many of us, trying to figure out how to do our kids' work right now is like just overwhelming. Math in a box, that's new. Whatever happened to just long division? Things like that are things we're just not used to. So these are things to think about. The next thing that I would suggest is how do you help the kids? And what I really want to talk about here is emotional intelligence, because if we put our stress and our anxieties onto our kids, that's going to make it so much harder for them. So if we're frustrated, if we're upset about all of this stuff, you know, um, that's fine. Those are real emotions, and you need to have those emotions. But passing those emotions off to the children will make their success a little bit harder. So, how do you have conversations that help you talk through this, or if you have opinions or whatnot about all this? How do you do that in a way that is not passing it off to the children, so that our kids don't always hear or know, that maybe we're angry or upset about this, but more or less that, this is where we're at. This is what we got to do. We can't necessarily change it. This is the reality. But how are we gonna get through it, and how are we gonna get through it together, and that we're gonna be successful? So I'm not saying, you got to hide everything all the time, because it's also important for us to talk through these things with our kids in real ways. But I just want to make sure we're doing it in emotionally intelligent ways, so that our kids can be successful. Um, and emotional intelligence really talks about the importance of understanding our emotions and how our emotions impacts others, understanding other people's emotions and how their emotions impact us, and passing those emotions back and forth. There's so many layers to emotional intelligence. So these are just things that I want us to think about as we enter into wave 635. But also, as you know, we get into this feeling of, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're here again, which I think I feel sometimes. I definitely feel sometimes. My wife feels sometimes. We're all in this zone of is this going to end? Little things you can do throughout the day of school is give yourselves the okay to do fun things, like chuck on a video on YouTube of a dance party or something like that for the kids, or be silly or be fun or be a family, in different ways. And I know, again, easier said than done. A lot of us are working through this and trying to figure out how do we do our jobs and the online school so the best advice I can give everybody, and I'll tell you, I'm pretty bad at this myself, but the best advice I give everybody is create a structure and create a routine right off the bat. We have a few days before we start this again. We've done this before. Did you have a structure? Did you have a routine that worked last time? Can you write that routine down? Can you get the kids ready for that routine? We crave routine. Naturally, we crave routine. So if we can figure that out and we can structure the day, then it becomes predictable. And that predictability helps us to have less anxiety when those other things come up. So what do we need to have in the morning? What do we need to have at lunch? What do we need to have after, after school, so that the kids can continue what we still have to do our jobs, we still have to work. What's our routines look like? So any form of routine, writing it down, sitting down with the kids and working through it, I hope it works. And I guess all I can say is that I'm praying for everybody out there. I think we can do this. I know it's going to be hard. It's not ideal, but none of this, I guess, is ideal. I guess I can say we're in this together. But I hope this video helps, and I hope little tips I suggest helps. So take care, everybody, and God bless.